already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Including Lottie Dottie. You already know what it is. It's your boy Retro. We're here with you on today. Keep it locked. Don't you dare touch that dial. It's been a minute, but we in it to win it. So make sure you stay tuned. Let somebody know that we're going live. And we got a great show for you on today, guys. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Glory to God today with our best friends.
This is Retro from Retro Philosophy TV requesting permission to take off, please.
0 bound, direct Nelson. 3020 on the meter, direct Cook Canyon Ranch, Gulfstream 0 signal.
Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, please prepare for takeoff. Flight number F6B has been cleared. We are ready for takeoff.
And we'll let you know when we get to the airport in sight. Gulfstream 0 signal.
Make sure your seats are upright, seat belts are tight, and you're ready for a ride. It's your boy Retro, and we're taking off. The left lane has been cleared. Let's get ready to ride.
Oh, American 2495. 2715, have we going? Gulfstream 0 signal.
Let's go, let's go. It's the Retro Philosophy Show. You know, let's go. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah. More than conquerors. We are conquerors, yeah. More than conquerors. Hashtag press play. It's the Retro Philosophy Show. You know, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, you already know what it is. We are in the building with the one and only Mr. Who?
Blue Shadow.
And who we got?
Karma.
Karma in the building. You already know what it is. We're sitting here sharing biker stories and experiences. But specifically the Mission 448 North Carolina Four Corners. Bada boom, bada bang. You see it right here. So Karma, we are honored and happy to present you with yours. And Mr. Shadow, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, hashtag who got next. Tell me something real quick about the NC Four Corners.
I got the experience that North Carolina is very beautiful.
Okay.
And it was very, and the weather was great up there. It was things that I didn't even know North Carolina had.
Nice.
So, you know, and Kitty Hawk was beautiful. So I encourage anybody that want to do the Four Corners, get out there and do it. It's very easy.
Make it do what it do. What about you, Shadow?
Man, great experience, great weather. Got to experience every element of North Carolina, from the mountains to the beach to the flat area in the Piedmont. Great experience. I encourage everybody to do it. All those MC sets out there who say you run your state, literally run your state. Put boots on the ground all over your state. Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, you already know what it is. It's your boy Retro, and I'm here with Christ Descendants. We got the one and only
Digger
and
Skits.
And we out here. He's digging, he's skidding, and I'm just old school Retro. But these gentlemen here, man, they have just completed the North Carolina Four Corners. So we are privileged and honored to present them with their badge for the NC Four Corners. That's for Skids. And this is for Crazy Digger, because he's been all over knocking out all kind of four corners. Digger, there you go, bro. We appreciate you guys, man, Christ Descendants, supporting this whole movement, man. And we're going to get some states together. Just stay tuned, because it's coming. Skids, you got
Get out there and do it. Pound the pavement.
There you go. Pound on that pavement, guys. What about you, Digger?
Did it. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
They
got the trailers. They did it with trailers, too. It's your boy Retro with you on today, man. God is good all the time, and all the time he's good. When I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. because I praise God for saving me. Okay, guys, we want to thank you for joining us. Go ahead and hit the share button. It's been a minute, but we're here. As I said, we're in it to win it. So without any further ado, guys, we want to talk about some things on today. There were a few things that transpired on this past weekend that I'm still processing. I'm still dealing with. It hurts on many different levels. We have a special guest that's going to be joining us here on this morning's show to get their narrative, their insight, their advice, their take on it, among some other things. And I do believe that this person, well, it is what it is. You saw the title. We have the one and only Councilwoman Kimberly Wasson in the building. She'll be joining us here in just a moment. And so she's going to be speaking on quite a few things. And if you're watching and you're from the Statesville area, then you need to hit up the phone line so that we can number one, encourage her, number two, ask some questions. You know, my daddy used to tell me as a young boy growing up, the dumbest question is a question not asked. Sometimes we sit on the wayside and on the wayside, that side over there, whatever. And we gripe and we complain and we got a problem. But did you once open your big mouth? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me be cool. But did you once open your mouth to ask the relevant question? Maybe all you need is just a little bit of understanding as to why a person is doing what they do. And then you'll realize, oh, it's not a problem. It's just that I didn't see that. And when you don't see certain aspects, then you will have a distorted understanding. You know what I call that, folks? I call that a stronghold. Yeah, a stronghold is a distorted process of thinking. It's a stronghold, and the devil plays with us on so many levels. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, I'm going to use this whole show to bring our guest in, and we're just going to talk with her. Beautiful young lady. I had the opportunity to move beautiful both inside and out, and I mean that in every innocent form of the word. And her family, you know, has been great. And so, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and make it do what it do and bring her on in the building here on the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's make some noise for the one and only Councilwoman Kim Wasson. Welcome to the show, Kim. God bless you, and thank you for joining us on this morning.
Good morning, Mr. MacGyver. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I'm doing good like the child of God should. I'm too blessed to be stressed, too anointed to be disappointed. But don't get it twisted. I'm a black man in America, so I got my fair share of problems.
Amen.
So again, welcome to the show. Thank you for being with us. As a matter of fact, let me not be rude. Would you mind introducing yourself to those who are watching on this morning?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kimberly Wasson. I am a native of Statesville. I've been here for the 54 years of my life. Went to school in Charlotte, moved to Durham for a couple of years, and decided to come back home and raise my children. This is my home. I love it here. I could be other places, but I choose to be here. My family is here. I love this community, and I just want to be a bigger part of it and bring it back to where it used to be and where it could be in the future. We've got a great city here, great location. And I just want to do my part in our community to make it the best city it can be.
Amen. Amen. Let's make some noise right there. Well said. How many children do you have? You mentioned, raising your kids, coming back here to raise your kids and everything.
I have two children, Preston Wasson and Katiana Alston.
Okay.
And I think I met you through my son, Preston.
That is correct. Cool, brother, man. I like that guy. I'm definitely going to have to get with him here soon. And, I got a few ideas I would like to run by the young G. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So went to school in Charlotte, came back here to raise your family. Tell us a little bit about your position here in the city of Statesville and why you chose to go that route.
So right now I am on the Statesville City Council. I serve in a seat called At Large, which basically I represent the entire city of Statesville. Mm-hmm. I decided to run for that position after trying to help a couple of other candidates win a seat and just really trying to become more involved in the things that were happening in our community.
Okay.
I supported a lady that was running for mayor. She's running for mayor again.
Okay.
Against me. I did not know that.
Okay.
Until she filed. but I was her campaign manager and really started to see some of the inner workings of how things work in politics, where I had just never really been that engaged in it.
Yeah.
So probably like most people,
Mm-hmm.
we see it, we think people are working in our best interests, and we trust people maybe sometimes when we shouldn't. Um, and I say that to say that our interests in our communities are not always the same interests that other people have. And we had a lot of different things happening. Me and my son would put on events down at Kimbrough Park. We had an event down there at Kimbrough Park, and the bathroom, a stall in the girls' bathroom was broken.
Mm-hmm.
The very next year, we hosted another event in the same park,
And the
and
bathroom was still broken.
the bathroom stall was still broken. So
Wow.
literally, when you opened the door, the outside door, you could see inside the stall,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a girl's stall.
Yeah.
And so I sent an email to the person that we had we paid for the facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent an email to the person detailing, that they needed to fix the bathroom. I got a not nice email back, very condescending and dismissive email back. And yeah, so I sent a copy to his boss, and almost crickets. So I asked for a meeting with his boss because it's a door. I even offered
Correct.
to pay for supplies and literally got nothing. And so scheduled a meeting with him after I went to every park in the city and wrote down everything that I could find that was wrong, that now I'm curious as to why my park looks like this.
Right.
And that meeting was very interesting. Excuses.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided at that time that I needed to be more engaged, more involved. And that's kind of where it started. And I just got very involved in it. So went from recreation to housing. And then we were also having really bad crime issues. A little girl got killed in front of her home, and there was some gang activity picking up in the community, and just a lot was going on. And just really deciding at that time that I just needed to be more involved and more engaged personally,
Absolutely.
so that I could help.
Mm-hmm. Councilwoman, I hear what I heard my mama say as a kid growing up, and some of the other elders. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So you saw a problem and were not able to get a solution for the problem. So you became part of the solution that would make sure there would be no problem for others. Am I hearing you correct?
Absolutely. We needed people that were going to listen to
Mm-hmm.
people that look like me,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not a boisterous person. I'm not, I'm sending emails. So I'm just trying to get some clarity. I spent money on something, and I think that people in general should be able to go to the bathroom when you rent a facility.
Mm-hmm.
And, to have someone dismiss my concerns for a full year, it ended up being about 3 years. I was very upset, and I felt like if this is the way that you're engaging our community, then yes, we need to be more involved. You need to know more people that look like me. We needed our own voice, because
Okay.
apparently we were not being heard.
Let me ask you this. A lot of things going through my mind right now. Number one, I want to ask you, what is the strength of your campaign? Because you currently sit as councilwoman, but you are running for mayor of this great state of Statesville, this great city of Statesville. What is the strength of your campaign? Why do I need to take my time to go down to my region to vote for Kimberly Wasson?
Absolutely. Our city has undergone a lot of changes over the last couple of years. We've kind of quelled the gang activity. We've worked with the police. We have given them resources to do the things that they need to do in our communities. And the simple things were, give them cameras, give them license plate readers,
Mm-hmm.
give them just general support, give them raises. Prior to the time that I came on council, our city officers had not had a raise in 8 years.
Whoa.
And so you're asking me to go put my life on the line
Mm-hmm.
and work in a community that is struggling, but you don't respect me as an employee.
Correct.
So, that was one of the things that we had to address wholeheartedly, because if I go to work every day and you don't appreciate me, I may not do the best job ever. I might be a little disgruntled when I go into a community, and we didn't want that. We want happy, viable, excited employees that are excited about going to work every day and are going to go and do the work that they have been called to do with a great attitude. In saying that, we were able to clean up a lot of the activity that was happening in the community. We also had conversations with the DA to try to understand why so many cases were not being solved, so many cases were not being closed, and we needed to act on some of that and just have some communication around that. So we did that. We also had a lot of issues going on in our communities with what I would call slumlords. We had people in our community that were charging very high rents for almost nothing. So you have citizens in the community that are paying $800-900 rent in a home that is very substandard. So we had to work with code enforcement to help them, because people that live in these properties can't complain to the landlord, because the landlords know exactly what they're doing. So we had to really work with code enforcement and give them some teeth by creating policy that supported them being able to be a little tougher on these landlords to help our community.
Can we dig in there for a minute, Kim, if I could so rudely interrupt you?
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
So we've got, I don't know if I can say we got, as in we have, or we had, probably still a little bit of both, but you've got these slum landlords, and now you've got these tenants who are living in, undesirable conditions. Absolutely. In your opinion, you obviously you thought that was worth going after, and you did. But why did you go after that? What do you think changing that situation does for our community?
Well, we kept hearing that narrative. South Statesville is this and South Statesville is that. South Statesville is stuck, not because of the residents that lived in South Statesville, but because of the people that were preying on South Statesville. South Statesville didn't have a problem because they created it. South Statesville had a problem because people had created it for them. And, we would have really hard conversations behind the scenes. And, they were like, well, if we write up these properties, these people may lose their homes. They don't own those properties. A lot of the people in South Statesville were renters.
Right.
And so having a conversation with people on city council that were not really privy to the area, they just saw, we got a problem over here. Well, when you started to move down into what the problems were, you have the basic problem was people prey on poor people. They do it all the time. And nobody was listening. Nobody was listening to them. Well, when people were talking about having high utility bills and, they're mad at the city of Statesville. Well, when you look down into it, you have high utility bills because you have no insulation in your home. You had landlords that were leaving the lights in their names so that they would not have to have the home inspected. And that was a policy that we had to look at. Yeah. The way they were getting away with having substandard housing was they'll tell the tenant, well, I'm going to leave the lights in my name. And the tenant thinks that they're getting a deal. Right. Because they're not having to pay a security deposit. Right. Well, at the end of the day, basically it's giving them an out from having the property inspected. And so when you have sagging floors and roof problems and foundation problems, and we had a house that the floor was separating from the door. There was a gap this big that rodents were coming in. And she had complained to her landlord multiple times. She sent me a video. It made my stomach hurt. So these were the kinds of things that we were having to deal with. And we got very involved with some great housing people. Leslie Marion in that community is awesome. She had a relationship with the tenants. And I told her, give out my number. They don't have to complain. You tell me and I'll complain. And, it worked to clean up some of the people that were taking advantage of the situation. Once you create a home and a space where people can be safe, they can deal with the other issues that they have in their lives. Because if
Okay.
I'm not safe, I'm stressed, and I'm dealing with a level of stress every day that makes it hard for me to function in life. And if I
Mm-hmm.
can't function and get to work and take care of my children and do the basic things that I need to do, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So our
Yeah.
residents across the city saw this community as a bad community. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
any bad communities in Statesville.
Say
We
that one
have
more
a
time.
beautiful, we don't have any bad communities in Statesville.
Now, there are a lot of people that are watching would disagree with that. So I'm going to ask if you would elaborate as to how you come to that conclusion.
One of the primary things that was happening in South Statesville is that we had a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
renting to people that were bringing things into that community.
Mm-hmm.
The people didn't live in that community that were getting caught. Once the police started getting more active and kind of seeing what was happening, a
Uh-huh.
lot of the people that were getting arrested were not from South Statesville.
Okay.
They were just doing bad things in South Statesville.
Okay.
So again, we've got to clean up our community and let people know that we don't tolerate this here. We're not going to allow you to come into our communities and act like this, period. So a
So,
lot of the things kind of subsided in South Statesville. The granted, they went to other communities, and we're
mm-hmm.
working on getting those cleaned up as well.
Correct.
Because we have to send out a clear message that these things just won't be tolerated here at
So,
all.
so
None of it.
preventing those from outside of the community to come into our communities and give our communities the appearance of a bad community. How do we stop that? Is it the resident? Is it the residents? Is it the city officials? Is it a combination? How do we stop that?
Oh, it's a combination.
Okay.
Absolutely a combination. We have to work collaboratively
Mm-hmm.
to see the issues. And so I go back to the code enforcement. Code enforcement and housing, when you have a landlord, you know exactly who you're renting to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're continuously having police show up at that house, if you have the house is getting shot up, you have things that keep happening at this home, and even so far as certain people moving to different homes in that same community, but the trouble following those people,
Mm-hmm.
you have a problem and you need to address the problem. And so we made it clear in some great instances that you can't do business like that here. There are residents over here that do own their homes, that do pay their rent. They want to be safe. They want their children to be able to go to the bus stops. They
Mm-hmm.
want to have a safe community. They want to be able to go to sleep at night and not hear gunshots. They want a
Absolutely.
safe, happy community where they can live, work, and play
Mm-hmm.
safely.
That's good. Thank you, Councilwoman, for that. I just want to say this for those of you who are watching, even if you're not from the Statesville area, you might be watching from a different state or a different, city or what have you. You may still have some questions that she can address. So don't be afraid to reach out at whether in the comment section or you can call the number that's scrolling on the bottom of your screen, 704-235-8408. We'd love for you to join this conversation on today. You may be calling in from a community where you say, look, our community is going good. Well, share some of the things that you guys are doing in your community, and we might be able to adopt some of those things as well. So again, we've got to work together in this thing. I can't look at my community and say we're good, so later for them, because it's just a matter of time until it may bleed over into another community. Community so far, Councilwoman, seems to be the prevailing theme so far in this conversation, rightfully so. We have the city of Statesville, and then we have the different communities. And sometimes a city could do well and thrive, whereas communities or certain communities within the city are going downhill. Can you speak to that for a moment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the big reasons that, one of the things that I share with people a lot when I talk about what I see in our community, everybody won't see the same thing because everybody has different views and everybody has a different frame of reference. What I see when I see our community, Statesville is the county seat of Iredell County. Iredell County itself is an incredibly rich county.
Mm-hmm.
Statesville used to be a thriving community. We had businesses, we had homes, we had good schools, we had a mall, we had a couple of movie theaters, we had a skating rink, we had all of the things that made me have a happy childhood here in this city, all the things that made me want to come back and bring my children back here and raise my children here. Over the past 20, 25 years, I see a very different Statesville than what I grew up in. There's nothing for the children to do. We have an aged population because our young people are leaving and they're not coming back. We have average household income in Statesville, and people can say what they want to say. I think I'm doing great. Average household income per the census in 2020, average household income in Statesville, around $43,000 per household. So if you know millionaires, you know doctors, you know people, and even yourself, you think about what you bring home yourself, and then the average household income is 45,000. You got to think about how low and how many people we have that are way below poverty level that are pulling that number down so much. And so we have to address that. So we have to address that by bringing in jobs. We have to address that by bringing in housing and bringing in people, younger people that still earn income. We have an aging community and most of them are on a fixed income. So
Right.
when you have a community like that and people are wondering, oh, well, we don't have any retail. Why don't we have any shopping? Older people don't shop. They don't spend money like young people do.
Wow.
And so, so it's just basic economics. When you're talking about why retailers don't come here, if they look at average household income in Statesville is 43, average household income in Morrisville is 68, they're going to go to Morrisville first.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things that we're trying to do, people see the housing coming in and they're like, oh, they're doing this and they're doing that. And that's not for me. We're working on housing for everybody. With
Okay.
that being said, we have to have low income housing. We have to have middle income housing. And we have to have some people we want our doctors and lawyers and teachers and preachers and pastors and everybody to stay here in Statesville. If
Now-
you provide a place for them to live, they will live, work, and play and spend money in that town.
Correct. Now, I was just riding through Statesville the other day because, of course, I live here in Statesville, and I'm proud to be a Statesvillian. I think I can call myself a Statesvillian. They ain't put me out yet, so. So I'm good. I ain't going nowhere. So as I'm riding through Statesville, through certain neighborhoods that would be deemed as undesirable neighborhoods, I noticed that what once stood as a rundown property has now been completely torn down and a new structure is there. So I'm seeing this throughout several different communities. Okay. So now my question is, as you mentioned, housing, as well as affordable housing, in these neighborhoods that tenants once lived in undesirable conditions, are they able to get some of these homes that are being built in the neighborhoods that they, either used to or still currently live in? And what does that process look like?
Absolutely. So literally what we had to do was simplify that process. We had a list with over 200 dilapidated properties on it.
Hold on.
Across the city.
A list of how many?
Over 200
Okay.
dilapidated properties.
Okay.
Sitting there on the Statesville's tax bill where the city was cutting the grass, boarding up windows continually, some for over 10 years. The same process over and over and over again. So you're
Right.
accruing, you're attaching the grass mowing and these buildings to this home that's beside somebody else's home,
Correct.
just in disrepair.
Yeah.
So simply, we needed a process. So started having some meetings with planning and code enforcement and housing. And again, Leslie Marion, she is amazing. We started doing research on what was happening in other communities and how were other communities getting rid of these properties and how we could get these off of Statesville's tax base. So the city is taking care of them and get them into the hands of people that live in the community.
Okay.
So we basically created a process, created a policy, which is what council people do. All we do is create a policy.
Okay.
We created a policy where these properties, we had to give legal some money to be able to start putting some teeth into foreclosing on the property.
Okay.
So we were doing simple things, mailing letters to the home. Renters live there. Don't mail letters to the home. Mail the letters to the person that lives in California that has not been in this house for 10 years. They have no clue. As long as their rent comes, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't tell them to come and clean up their home, they're not going to come. And if you're going to cut the grass, they're going to let you. So
Correct.
we started sending foreclosure notices and, basically saying this space it can't be here.
Okay.
And either you're going to clean it up or we're going to foreclose on it.
Couple things.
So a lot of people, they got foreclosed on. They were air properties.
Yeah.
People hadn't been here in 20, 30 years and just left them.
Uh-huh.
And they were not feasible. They were not rehabitable.
Okay.
And so we started foreclosing on those properties.
Uh-huh.
Once the foreclosures happened, we put right now there's an active list that you can call Leslie Marion. You can get a list. Some of the properties
I'm gonna need some information for Leslie Marion.
Absolutely.
We're definitely gonna have to sit down and speak with her.
Absolutely.
Couple things.
And
Go ahead.
it started cleaning up the properties. People started buying them. Yeah. And there are people in the community, because one of the things that was happening and I was hearing on council is nobody wants those properties.
Mm-hmm.
Property is property.
Property is property.
People do want the property.
Mm-hmm.
If I've lived in this community for 20 years, if I've lived in Rabbit Town for 20 years and this property is beside me and I've never been able to clean it up because it's not mine,
mm-hmm.
I will buy that property because I don't want vagrants living in the house beside me.
So currently the properties that we're referencing right now, just to answer the question Shakila Bussey puts up, her question was, when you say housing, are we talking new apartment complexes or upgrade to current homes? And what I'm gathering is new homes and then the renovation of some, because some are beyond repair. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
So
now,
they can be sold. Right. They can be sold. People can renovate them and rehab them if they want to. Some of them were beyond repair. So they were torn down, and then people would just rebuild something on that same property.
Now here's the next thing.
And then some of it was just land. Some of it was also just land.
Okay,
land
perfect.
was just sold.
Shaquish Nicole Cheryl, she's watching as well, and her question is a very good question and a very important question. She says, is Southside turning into gentrification area? I notice when I drive through all these new homes. So we're addressing the dilapidated homes and the eyesores, and we're getting them cleaned up. New homes are up there. But again, do we have outsiders coming in, taking advantage, once again, preying on our neighborhoods, and then renting them out or selling them at such a price point where our community can't afford them? Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Okay, two things.
Okay.
First, is gentrification. You got to think about the definition of gentrification. Gentrification is when an outside group of people comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to those residences and you look at those homes and you look at the people that are coming out in and out of them,
mm-hmm.
the people look like me.
Okay.
So you got to keep in mind that a lot of people that don't look like us are not
mm-hmm.
going to want to live in South Statesville.
Mm-hmm.
So we're creating a community, and the homes are affordable. And like I said, the people look like me.
Okay.
Now they're purchasing them. We also
when you say they are purchasing, are the theys looking like us as well, or are there just outsiders purchasing and then making it affordable for us?
They look like us.
Okay.
And you can go look.
Okay, so we're talking ownership and occupancy.
Their ownership and occupancy.
Okay, perfect.
And so, because again, you got to keep in mind,
mm-hmm.
it's still South Statesville.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be ugly about it, but others don't want to live there. And so that's the thing that I was sharing with people on council. Nobody wants to live here. Nobody wants to buy that land. You're not going to be able to sell that land. The land is sold and people are happy.
Mm-hmm,
and you may have an older home that now the property values on that home are going up because you have a decent piece of property beside it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go, as people go through the community, tell them to look. When you see people coming outside in those cars, look at them.
Yeah.
They look like us.
Now, you guys have put policies in place to make sure that these homes get foreclosed on. I think you kind of spoke about that a little earlier in terms of the process. So for Shakila, after that home's set for X amount of time, they send out letters and everything. And if after no response or whatever, then the foreclosure takes place. And so we've got policies in place to address that. But if I live down the street from that house that just went up, is there a process? I shouldn't say process, is there a program, or what is the process for me to become owner of that piece of property?
Now, I would tell everybody you got to go talk to a realtor.
Okay.
Because City of Statesville doesn't own those properties.
Okay.
When we sell the property, it's gone. Like there's a list that I could give you. You can post on your site today.
Well,
when a person buys
that's
property,
what I want to. That's what I want to talk about, though. So the city of Statesville foreclosed on it, fixes it up.
No, we don't fix it up. We just foreclose on it and then we sell it.
And then sell it as is.
Yes, we sell it as is.
Okay, and then the new owner gets the old property and does the fixing up. Okay,
Right.
So after Statesville acquires the property, is there a program that says, hey, look, you guys can get this house? Or is that just a regular business as usual? And whoever takes advantage of that can do what they do?
It's regular business as usual.
Okay.
However, we do have many housing programs inside the city of Statesville, one of which is through United Way, where we give United Way money to renovate old properties, but then we also, and people can apply for that money to help people age in place and support affordable housing by you being able to stay in your home. We also have set aside money where there's down payment assistance for residents that want to live. It's $25,000 for people that want to live in the city of Statesville. There is also a program from the state right now that is $50,000 for down payment assistance that anybody can apply for. All of those programs are through the United Way and community foundations. So if you have time, you can look up United Way in Statesville, in Iredell County. But there are many programs throughout the state. State Employees Credit Union, if anybody is a member, and then most banks have programs that they can help people go through. Statesville Housing Authority also has programs that people can go through to be qualified. Once you get qualified, of course, you got to find housing, but then that's also something that we're working with some HUD funding to bring in more housing that is affordable now or attainable. Now, when you start talking about affordable housing, that gets to be a whole different conversation, and we can have it a different time. But literally, what's affordable to you may not be affordable to me.
Correct.
So if you're talking about, a rent payment, Iredell County, I'm going to say it again, is an incredibly rich county. So what's happening down in Mooresville is driving up our cost of living here in Statesville.
Correct.
Because even though it's cheaper to stay here in Statesville, the tenants, the people that own the hotel, the people that own the apartments, if they're charging $1,800 in Mooresville, they're probably just going to charge $1,500 in Statesville. So, it's not like they're going to lose money. And because they're private organizations, there's not a whole lot that we can do. We have built in the last 3 years, 3 55 and older apartment buildings that are based on income. One is out by on Highway 64 by United. One is the one that we just finished, which is right in front of Hardee's on Center Street. And then the newest one that is taking applications right now it's on 115 beside the Food Lion. So it's taking applications right now. Statesville is the only community in Iredell County, and well, not the only one, but Statesville has more low-income housing than anybody in Iredell County.
Okay.
So we have all of the projects, or what people call projects. We have a lot of Section 8 housing. I'm going to leave that there.
Yeah, because that's a rabbit hole right there.
Well, you heard what I said. I'm going to leave that there. We have a lot of what you call we have a lot of apartments based on income. There's 2 out behind Lowe's. ISIC has a couple of properties in the community. Those are based on income from Statesville Housing Authority. The ones that are out there by Cloverleaf, those are based on income. We have more communities that are based on income than any community in the county.
Let me ask you this.
We also have the jail,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
shelter,
Uh-huh.
and everything else that brings poor people to a community. So we have to address that as well.
Correct. Correct. We have more affordable housing. One of the counties that well, anyway, we have a lot of affordable housing here in Statesville. Is that affordable housing restricted to just the apartments?
No.
Okay, so there are literal homes where they can go and they can get as well outside of just an apartment complex?
And again, that goes to what is affordable. One of the things that we're working
Oh, I'm sorry.
on
Excuse me. I'm
is-
sorry. Wrong choice of words. That goes by income.
Okay.
That goes by income because you mentioned some of the apartment complexes that goes by income, right? But we don't have any homes that's in that same situation. Is that correct?
I don't know of any kind of program that would do a home except for Section 8.
Okay, so that would be its form. Here's
Which
my
is a
here's
HUD program. And
Yeah.
people that get on Section 8 can live anywhere.
right. So one thing I do know is that typically an apartment costs as much, if not more, than what the normal mortgage would be for, an average home.
Absolutely.
Now, let's say I'm in that situation. My credit is not the best. They will not give me a mortgage. They will not give me a $900 mortgage, but they will let me get a $1,500 apartment.
Exactly.
I don't understand that.
It's a problem. I don't
yeah.
understand it either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have any
That's a whole
suggestions?
different question for a mortgage professional. I don't understand it either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me shift real quick here. I want to kind of get back to this whole home thing, and because I believe all this plays into the strength of our community on more than just one level.
Absolutely.
Are you aware of any minority contractors in the Statesville area? Are there a lot of minority contractors in this area?
I know that there's a couple of Latino contractors. I do know of a couple of Black companies that are doing some building. I know Mr. Glover does some buying and selling of homes. I know Keith Williams, that used to be on City Council. Him and Wade Eicher do some building and renovating of homes.
Okay.
We also work with Habitat for Humanity. So I know that the city has donated land to Habitat for Humanity and has probably placed 10 people in homes that they now own. My grandson's father is in one.
Okay.
But that is something that we've been doing too. When we had land, some of it we give away or have given away. We used to give a lot of it away to other organizations, and if you don't build on it, they're still not property. So we try to spread that around and work with a bunch of different organizations that have committed to building properties. But once we give it to them, we can't tell them what to do with it. We just kind of gave it to them. And then if that doesn't work out, we don't do it again.
Understood.
We do it the same builder. But one of the great partners that we worked with has been Habitat for Humanity, and they have done some beautiful work.
True
in
indeed.
Statesville.
True indeed.
And those are typically based on keeping their average rent low. One example of a family was they were living in those apartments over behind Statesville High School over on Brevard.
Yep.
That are ISIC properties or Statesville Housing Authority properties. They were paying like $900 a month for rent. And they were able to get a house. Their home payment is $600.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Beautiful success.
That's what I'm talking
through
about.
Habitat for Humanity. And they have open registrations all the time.
Are there any, how do I want to say this? So the city acquires properties through foreclosure and other means that were, again, dilapidated, undesirable, needing of repair, and then they sell it. Is there any program or any way to get our residents more involved in that beginning stage, so that maybe instead of waiting to purchase it for someone who does all the fixing up and purchase it for a much, inflated price, that they can cut out the middleman, get the home, and,
It's a list. it's a list. Like I said, I can email it to you as soon as we get done. You can post it, and all they have to do is call and pay it, like pay
Yeah.
the taxes on it.
By all means, send me that list. I think that what we need to do is we need to get with someone, maybe some of these other contractors, because for the average person on Section 8, the average person living in, I don't want to, specify any area, but living in these situations that we're discussing today, they may hear the process, but don't quite understand the process. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I
And
think
Leslie is that contact. You can call her and she can give you all that information.
yeah. All right, we'll definitely have a conversation after the show. I need all those numbers. I want to start having some conversations because I think that it takes all kinds. You doing what you do on your level is one thing, but if we're not doing what we're doing on our level, it makes your job harder. It can also get you to a point of frustration because you're fighting so hard for us here. Not that you're above us or anything, but then we're not taking advantage of it for whatever reason,
Well, people are taking advantage of it. I mean, like that's what's happened to Southside. That's what's happened to Rabbit Town. It's happening in Belmont. It's happening.
Well, good. We
Please
got to
get
make sure.
involved. Yes, build some more houses.
Look at it. Say no more. Say no more.
I know, right?
More. Okay, I must shift because I want to talk about this because this literally happened in the same community that we're talking about over on 5th Street this past weekend. For those of you who do not know, we lost a powerhouse in her own right. She was just a good person. I came to know her many years ago through ministry, but because of who she was. There are some preachers you meet because they are a preacher, but you establish a relationship because of who they are. Satonia Burton was a longtime resident of Statesville, North Carolina. And she pastored Freedom International over on 5th Street for some 16, 17 years. And she was taken away tragically and way too soon this past Friday. And Councilwoman, I would say let's have a moment of silence, but I will not, because Satonia Burton would have not wanted a moment of silence. She would have wanted a moment of praise, because she was just that kind of a person. So she's going to be missed by many. Let me see something real quick here. Speaking of. And I want to talk about that for a quick moment. And before I do, I would ask you, did you know her?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about the person, Satonia Burton, in your own words.
She was really, really sweet, very active, a little powerhouse, just exciting. I work a lot. I have a nonprofit called Angel Wing. So a lot of times, we were working in the community trying to help kids and doing things, helping people find housing, those kinds of things. And so Satonia was one of those people that I would reach out to, when we would have need of whatever. Furniture. Once you find a house, you got to furnish it. Once you run into these kids, you got to find clothing. You got to find, when you find kids and people that are in bad situations, sometimes it's critical that you act immediately.
Correct.
And so reaching out to the different pastors and different churches and different communities is oftentimes one of the easiest things to do. And we all know that you have some churches that jump right in, and we all know that you have some churches that don't. And so with that being said, she was definitely one of those people that would jump right in and give the help, make donations, do what she needed to do to be able to take care of a child in need, because that's what Angel Wings does. We service children under 18.
Nice.
And so if there was a child that was being displaced from a home that needed a whole new wardrobe, or a child that, a family needed food and things like that, and it's the weekend and all the places that you can go to get help are closed, churches are the places that you go. And she was always willing to just jump right in and just do whatever she had to do without question. And so her death was a horrible loss to our community. I mean, a tremendous life cut short. And I pray for her family and her nephew. It sheds light on mental illness. I mean, she was trying to somebody again. And so again, people have got to be mindful of what they call helping somebody, because when somebody has mental illness, and one of the things that we don't do well in our community is we don't look at mental illness. Oh, he's crazy. Oh, he just acts like that. We got to start being sincere and honest about what's happening in our families. Get diagnoses. If your child, something has been in your family, that's just the way they are forever, and you don't have a true diagnosis, we got to stop that. We have got to start doing the work as a community, going to counseling, getting help, getting the diagnosis, freaking take the pill, for God's sake. I mean, and I know that taking a pill is not the answer for everything, but if you have a chemical imbalance or you have a true mental illness, you gotta treat that.
You do.
And it's not, you shouldn't be embarrassed about it, because when a person is struggling and having a mental crisis, like what was happening in this family, this was just could have been so prevented if somebody had helped him.
I want to say this
Help.
because we don't want to minimize her efforts. And we don't want to be, and I'm not saying that you are by any means. And we don't want to minimize it. We don't want to, overlook it or anything like that. But mental illness is real. This clip, it's so traumatizing because here she is she's trying to help this young man.
He did, yes.
Yes. He comes home from prison after 8 years, and she is so excited to not only have him back, but to help him. Only for what? Weeks later, months later, for him to be the very one to take her life and then tragically take his as well.
Right. And so, I mean, that family has to be reeling. And, I mean, there's so much loss.
So much.
And, she was a beautiful soul. And I just hate that, I mean, there's just no words. I mean, that family, I just feel so bad for them. And I mean, all the prayers in the world can't bring those people back.
And we're definitely praying. Thank you, K Solo the writer, for those kind words, sir. It is a significant loss and a tragedy. Let me put this back on the screen because this is what I want us to take away from this. I know we can't bring her back, but this is her very own words. This is a quote from herself. Your story matters. Write it like someone's freedom depends on it, because it just might. And I believe that she would want us to learn from this. Now, I was speaking with someone recently, and my statement was, regardless of what, she wouldn't want to come back. Because the moment we close our eyes in this life and open our eyes in eternity, so I don't think she would want to come back to this world.
Right.
Me personally, but we must learn from it. And mental illness is a real thing. And in some cases, the truth is, a gallon of anointing oil ain't gonna help you the way you need help. So as you said, Councilwoman, take the daggone medicine if you need medicine, and let's not spiritualize everything. When I first heard the news, Councilwoman, I said, you got to be kidding me. Then I found out, who did it. But for those who do not know, they will say, see, that's why we don't want to live in those neighborhoods. But this was not necessarily a neighborhood problem.
No,
it was completely different. Are there any programs for mental health in the city of Statesville that you are aware of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So 2 different things. Partnership has programs in the city for young people, or that young people can reach out to. The school system, when school gets back, also has mental health counseling and support systems in place inside the school for young people. if anybody knows what Rainbow Kids is, Rainbow Kids is a grief counseling support system that operates inside the school system. You also have, many counselors, and your insurances will oftentimes pay for diagnosis and support. I think that the community, we're not real big on we're not real big on counseling and talking about our problems and our issues and that kind of thing. And I just think that until we change that whole narrative, we can't just be beat it out of them, or I mean, sometimes you have to look for the real problem. That's just like having cancer and telling somebody, oh, well, my grandma had cancer, but hers just went away. Or act better, it'll just go away.
Right.
That's not the way it works.
That's not the way it works.
It's just not. I mean, a chemical imbalance is a real chemical imbalance. And I'm not saying that was what his issue was. I don't know what his personal things were. But as soon as I heard what happened, and people they were whatever, people just start assuming things. And I'm like, that sounds like a mental break to me.
Yeah.
You would not, and it just sounded like a mental break to me. Like, you are under such duress that is just how you act out. And that family, again, has to be reeling from trying to understand this. And I mean, we know that with God does things sometimes that we are just like, I don't understand why you would let that happen.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, things happen every day.
They do.
And, we as a people have got to learn and trust and lean on him because it's not for us to understand.
Right.
And like you said, all the prayer in the world can't bring them back.
Right.
And I say them, meaning both of them, because, people are talking about Saturnia, but you got to keep in mind that's that they were both from that same family. And yes, there's a tragic loss of her, but it's also a tragic loss of a young man that didn't truly even get to have a life for whatever reason.
Right.
And I just, I leave it there and place it back in God's hands, because at the end of the day, he's the only person that can heal. He's the only person that can give them comfort. He's the only person that's going to be able to help them take a step and open their eyes the next day and be able to move forward. And I just pray for that family, and offering any support, counseling support services, please reach out. My number is 980-759-4114, and I'm happy to connect that family. I have a really good friend that does counseling. She's an African-American lady. Her office is in Mooresville. Not that makes a difference, but there are some really good.
I would beg to differ, but go ahead.
Huh?
I would beg to differ, but go ahead.
That there's not counseling services?
No, I would beg to differ that her being African American doesn't make a difference. I think it does make a difference. Not on a racial level, no, right. but on a we're different. Yeah, we some different people.
We're different.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. We're different. And I tell people every day, we're different.
Yeah.
And so I love sending people to her because she gets it. And she's so down to earth that a lot of times people are just like, oh my gosh, she was nothing like I thought she was going to be. And I'm like, I know. That's why I sent you down there.
Right.
But, I've talked to her. I've sent my family down there because she's the real deal. And sometimes, like I said, you got to start at the beginning. Your brain is wired to only handle so much. And I don't see how any family could get through this without some support.
I know that's right.
From God and the community and counseling.
And counseling.
And probably some drugs.
Not the kind that you get on the corner, but the kind that you get down there at CVS Walgreens.
You wouldn't know me, know me. I'm real. And like I said, I'm just saying, I just can't imagine. I probably couldn't pick my head up off the pillow.
Man, look at here, man. I don't even want to think about it. And after you being sworn into office, what is the very first thing you're going to do as mayor of Statesville, North Carolina?
As mayor of Statesville, North Carolina, the very first thing that I would want to do was hire an economic development manager or
Okay.
create an economic development team
Mm-hmm.
or department. The city
Okay.
of Statesville doesn't have one. And so because we don't have an internal housing department, we don't have any internal person actually seeks out businesses and coordinates relationships with businesses that we do have inside the community,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're losing an opportunity.
Okay.
Um, period. Because we
Okay.
don't have an internal housing department, we have to rely on other people to handle our housing for us.
Okay.
I think that that could be handled better if we had an economic development team, but also teams that are looking out for, what are the wages in the city and bringing in those pieces of data and just being able to analyze what we do need.
Okay.
If we need apartments, if we do need more of housing in this range, if we do need more retail, if we need more daycare, what do we need in this city to make Statesville a whole inclusive community? And I feel like those are just pieces that are not happening. I have advocated internally for those things already because I am on council, but it
Mm-hmm.
takes 5 votes to change anything on council.
Okay.
So to the community that's listening, if you don't know the 9 people that are on our council, get to know them.
Get to know.
We have 9 people on council. Every person in our city has 4 people that represent them. Your mayor, 2 at-large people, and the person that's over your ward. If you have any potholes, you have trees, you have down power lines, you have anything in your neighborhood that you need to talk to somebody about, you need to know who those people are. And you need to begin to advocate for yourself because I may have an opinion, the person that lives over by the mall may have an opinion, and the person that lives in the country club or in West Statesville may have completely different opinions about what's important to them in their community. So depending on where you are and what's important to you,
Mm-hmm.
you got to get involved.
Got to
Or
get
if you don't
involved.
want to get involved, at least know who you need to contact to advocate for yourself.
And again, just to reiterate for those who are watching, even though you may not live in Statesville, the principles and the truths that she's speaking is still applicable in your neck of the woods as well. So just keep that in mind, okay? So as mayor, come November 5th, one of your first tasks is to develop economic department or what have you. Okay, so we understand that, and I even think I understand why that's so important. What is the most difficult thing you're going to face as mayor?
Housing.
That's the most difficult thing you're going to face as mayor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have multiple homeless hotels.
Mm-hmm.
We have a shelter.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart every night. We have I don't know if you guys have seen it in the news where the
Mm-hmm.
hotel that's out there at Brookwood Hotel it's having to close and those residents are having to move within 2 weeks.
Brookwood. Okay. I'm
Brookwood
not
is
familiar.
over by where old JR used to be.
Oh, yeah. So they have to
That
close.
land has been sold.
Wow. And there's some
Now
other
everybody
properties
wants
back there as well that have been
all
vacant
of it.
for years.
The
Wow.
whole all of it's been sold.
Wow.
And so people talk about growth and development and retail. One of the things that happens when you start to clean up a community and
Mm-hmm.
we start code enforcing and you start telling people to clean stuff up,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have these people, 60 families that are going to have to find somewhere to live.
Here on the screen, it says vote for Kim Wasson, Statesville mayor. The first bullet point is a new vision for growth and good jobs. And so we're already talking about the growth as it relates to, some of the things we're touching on. The good jobs as we grow, these good jobs, who are they, going to? Are some of these jobs going to be kind of earmarked for certain, you know what I'm saying?
Jobs are never earmarked for anybody.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I was one of the first people to work in the office at Toter. My very first job, I worked at Toter, but I was in the office.
Uh-huh.
And so there was another black lady, and she hired me.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And so, yeah. So going into places and spaces where quote unquote, we haven't been allowed, it still bothers me when I feel like there are spaces that we don't feel comfortable going into, or we feel like we have gotten pushed out, or I have applied for 10 times and they don't hire me, but I know I'm more qualified than this person. Saying all that to say is, when we build a more inclusive Statesville, I feel like we're going to bring in more inclusive people. Statesville
I like that.
has some,
I like that.
Statesville got some ways. Anybody
Yeah.
that's here, you know it. And so all those people that work in Mooresville, Catawba, Winston, come back.
Yeah.
We want you here. We want our people not to leave, but we also have to build a community that understands that we're here, we're qualified, and I expect to have the job that I am qualified for. And it's not okay for me to be able to be overlooked anymore. But when you have those things happening,
Correct.
and they do, I mean, it just is what it is. But we've worked really hard to bring in new industries to Statesville. Businesses, there's one, I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's up there beside Pratt off of Meacham Road. They started out paying $26 an hour. We have, like I said, all of the city employees got raises after they hadn't had a raise in 8 years. And so now we had to bring their raises comparable to what's happening in surrounding counties, because we were just so far behind.
Yeah.
Our school teachers, advocating for them, advocating for their pay, advocating for those bonuses and the things that people need, because you can't keep acting like it's a small town mentality, because people's bills are not staying small. People's bills are growing.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And, so when you're talking to companies, ASMO and some of those companies are paying like $22, $23 an hour to start.
Right.
Walmart distribution starts out at like $21 an hour. We got, and so with that being said, there's a factory aspect of it. There's the truck driving. There's also the office personnel, Piedmont Healthcare. We have a lot of medical offices here. So again, working with Mitchell Community College, working with the economic development teams, we have an organization called Iredell Economic Development Team. It's not specifically Statesville, but it's Iredell County.
Okay.
And so we work with them in depth to bring in businesses. Sherwin-Williams was one of those businesses that I think we have brought in like 150 jobs.
Okay.
And most of them are technical. It's pushing a button. So it's not like we're going into plants anymore and getting dirty like some people, used to think that if I go work in a factory, I'm going to be dirty when I come home. These people go in factories and these plants are spotless because everything is automated and you're pushing a button. So the logistics pieces, the accountants, the machine operators, all of those different pieces. But an economic development team internally could bring, I would like to think, a new vision to Statesville, because we also still have to have new jobs like call centers and things like that, because everybody doesn't want to work in a factory. I was one of those people that I've never worked in a factory. I never wanted to, but I worked at Toter. I worked at International Paper. Then I went to the school system. But again, you've got to kind of meet people where they are. And if we want young people to be here, we're going to have to bring in the kinds of jobs that young people want to have. And young people, say what you will, they're techie and they're different. And so we're so centrally located that we could be a hub for any kind of business.
Absolutely.
We've got to look for those kinds of businesses.
Yeah.
We got to just quit assuming that everybody wants to work in a factory.
Yeah. Well said. Let's move on to point number two. Point number two. More activities for youth and families. What does that mean, and why is that? Why is it that made it to your list?
That made it to my list because everything that we used to have for youth and families is gone.
Okay.
So we're actively working, trying to get a community pool back. We used to have two pools, Garfield and Grace Park. I'm gonna leave that at that.
Okay.
We're working with people in the community and private organizations to try to bring that back. We need pools. We would love to host more track and field events. All of the football stadiums are getting new turf and new football fields and those things. Working with the school system, working with Parks and Recs. We are renovating We have now renovated every park in Statesville. Kimbrough Park is the last one. And so those renovations are happening right now as we speak. But bringing those pieces, again, Statesville was a little outdated. We've got to clean up. You know, you can't put I always say you can't put lipstick on a pig.
Right.
So bringing new houses into a community or new pieces of equipment and putting them beside old equipment, you got to clean it up first.
Yeah.
So we've got to clean up some of our parks. We've got to clean up some of our neighborhoods. We've got to move things. And then hopefully, again, once we start creating these opportunities, these things will start to come. But again, working with an economic development department, we can be able to look for some things like a science center, that our recreation departments that have an inside pool or inside a bigger recreation department. Like I said, these are big dreams. They're mine. You got to have a vision to be able to get something done. And so I just feel that moving forward, we've got to dream bigger and stop accepting things. We can't just be like, oh, they just keep taking this and they keep taking this and kids ain't got nothing to do. Okay, so if somebody wants to come into the area and they want to open a skating rink.
Yeah.
You've got to have resources in place, connect them to the chamber, connect them to organizations that can help and support them in getting that done. Because a lot of times those are private businesses.
Yeah.
Or if we know we want a skating rink, reach out to a skating rink or reach out to a bowling alley and say, hey, what would it take for you to come here to our city? Do you need land? Do you need a location? Do you need support finding, from the chamber? Like, what do you need to be able to come to our city? But we need somebody that can hold those tasks and move them forward. And right now we don't have that person.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so when those things left or were no longer, how did the youth and the family suffer as a result?
I feel like it was tragic. I feel like those were community meeting spaces that people from different communities came together in, and they hung out for 2 hours and then they went to their separate communities as friends. And when you take those things away, and now you have this person on social media and I don't like you, you don't know me, but you don't like me. But because people aren't meeting in person and they're not having these in-person relationships, it's just easy to foster negativity.
Okay.
And so you sit on social media and somebody says something and somebody says this, and a lot of that gang beef and stuff that we had was simply songs and, craziness, because there was no wholesome, healthy activity to do. And that's my opinion.
Now, playing the devil's advocate, which I don't like to do just because of the terminology, the way it sounds. But anyway, there are some that would say, well, that's why I don't want to send my kids to no public facility, because I'm afraid they might get gunned down. I'm afraid they might get into this kind of trouble, so on and so forth. How do you address that mentality?
And things are definitely different than what they used to be when we were younger.
Okay.
However, if you think about all the fun places, a swimming pool, and I'm just throwing it back at you. Have you ever seen a negative activity happen at a swimming pool? You swimming.
For the most part, no. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, that's just the way I think about it. If you're focused on having fun, you're focused on having fun.
And I think that's the key right there, the
idle
focus.
mind,
Yeah.
An idle mind.
Yeah.
And you
Devil's
know the
works.
rest of
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at home. I'm bored. I have nothing to do. I'm just bored. I'm just looking for something crazy to do. And as soon as somebody says something, you pop off, and it just goes left from there. Get these kids out of the house. Give them something to do. Period.
Yeah. I like
I'm
that.
a big sports fanatic. So
yeah. I like that.
Friday night, you'll find me at a football game.
There you go. All right. So that's good. All right. So more activities for youth and families. And, as a pastor, I tell the church quite often, we were talking extensively about it the other day. If we want a healthy church, we got to make sure we have healthy families, because, that's what makes a healthy church. And sometimes pastoral leadership will focus on just fleecing the people, and then the people are giving all they got to give, and now their homes are falling, and the church is growing, but the families are deteriorating, and I got a problem with that on so many levels. But we're gonna put a pin in that right there. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna calm down. But let me woo, so help me, Holy Ghost. Okay, all right. Bring it on down. Bring it on down. But the reality is, when we have healthy kids, we have healthy families, and when we have healthy families, we have healthy communities, and healthy communities make healthy cities, and healthy cities help make these states, and now we're just a healthy world, and so I'm glad to see this on your list. I will say that after being absent for so long, just like a father absent from a family, and then when he's reintroduced to the family don't want the structure because they've been so used to chaos, and then now him being there becomes a very problem that's really not a problem, but you got to work through those stages so that you can. Okay, all right, let me calm down again. So as you begin to do these things, what will you do when a good idea looks like a bad idea? Because you got the right thing you're addressing the solution the right way, but they're not ready to receive it yet because they've been so used to chaos.
Right.
What do we do then?
Well, and just like what we were talking about before, every solution is not going to be for everybody.
Okay.
And it's really just that simple. So if I have a 13-year-old, my solution to helping a 13-year-old or finding an activity for a 13-year-old is not going to be the same as finding a solution or an activity for an 18-year-old.
Correct.
So, being strategic and being actively engaged in the community and listening to what people say that they want. A big part of it is we got to listen, and then we got to do the research. You got to find the things that work in other communities. You've got to, we're not perfect, and Statesville's not an island. We've got to look at other communities that have the same size and the same, kind of infrastructure that we have. And we've got to either partner with them like a big sister, like High Point and Concord even. Now, Concord still has its struggles, but as far as population wise, I think Concord is where we're trying to go, as opposed to, like what they used to be. Concord was a outside of Charlotte, and people just started pouring in. So we've got to grow, but we've got to do it smartly. We definitely don't want to do too much, but you've got to grow in order to survive.
True.
And so, people see the house. Oh my God, we got people moving in. You guys, calm down.
Yeah.
I'm like, calm down. This is,
kind of need that, kind of want that a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a population of 28,000 people for 20 years. Stagnant.
Wow.
So everybody that came in, somebody left. 28,000 for 20 years.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So every time somebody came in, somebody moved out. So that to me is stagnancy. You've got to grow and change, and you've got to move and circulate, or it's just like a pond, the water gets stagnant.
And then begins to stink.
And it begins to stink.
Yeah. All right. Number 3, economic development. We kind of already are into that. More jobs. Let's talk about the revitalized mall area. Are we talking about the Signal Hill Mall, or what are we talking about here?
The Signal Hill Mall area.
Okay. Is that
now,
property?
Keep in mind. Excuse me.
No, go ahead. So you're speaking about the area, not so much just the property.
No, the area.
Okay.
So
okay.
East Statesville used to be a vibrant part of our community. And I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And we've got to do the research, figure it out, clean it up. Like I said again, you get off that exit and it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary to me, and I live here, and I know what's happening there. But we've got to make Statesville a welcoming place again. Statesville's not welcoming. Just about every exit is a little scary. And so we've got to do the work to clean up those exits. We've got to do the work to, again, code enforcement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the craziest thing. Code enforcement fixed a lot of it. but we had to recognize that we had issues and concerns, address them, vocalize them,
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, nobody is above the law.
Wow.
Everybody in this community has to be treated the same way. So if we're not going to allow dilapidated housing in South Statesville or Rabbit Town or
Mm-hmm.
Belmont or Brevard, we're also not going to allow these businesses to not take care of their businesses.
Right.
So you got to clean that up.
Yeah. Hold them accountable as well. So if
Hold
we
them
don't
accountable.
clean up the exits, they will never become an entrance for new residents. That's one way to look at it.
I mean, it is. I mean,
you know,
literally, it is because
yeah.
when you get off the interstate and something looks blighted or
I'm gonna get my
like
gas and
nobody,
keep on going. I'll go check
gonna
out
be too
Mooresville or
bad
Concord or
because it's just visibly more appealing, and
Yeah.
so you've got to make your city be impressive.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We can no longer be the armpit of Iredell County.
Well, true story. That was my testimony as it related to Statesville. My first impression of Statesville were some of the neighborhoods that are not as desirable because those were the ones that I saw as I came into Statesville. It wasn't until you kind of explore a little bit and get out and see that there was so much more of Statesville. When you first enter Statesville, pretty much from either of the exits, it doesn't really seem to be as big of a place as it is, let alone as nice of a place that it is and can be.
Right.
So there's a lot of truth to that, Councilwoman. Thank you for pointing that
And
out.
that's it. And that's it. We just got to recognize. I don't want anybody talking about my home or my city. I love my city.
Right.
You can't talk about it, but I can. And we got to recognize that if we don't want people talking about it, I got to clean it up. That's just like if I walk out with my hair all over my head.
Mm-hmm. Don't do that.
You can't get mad. Right. You can't get mad. Dang, look at her head. Fix your hair before you went outside. Like you should have did that.
You're not going out with no bonnet on your head, are you, Councilwoman?
No.
Okay, all right. Just checking. Just checking.
No, don't do that ever.
Let me stop.
You gotta own what you want. You gotta own your appearance. We gotta own our city. We gotta own it.
True indeed.
We got some things. We gotta own it.
True indeed. True indeed. Workforce housing for teachers, nurses, and skilled workers. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So when we talk about the average household income, we had to be honest on council and say, okay, so if this is the household that our residents are making, what kind of house could these people afford? And so then when you start looking at those numbers, it's a house that's around $250 that would get you a $900 to $1,200 house payment, depending on what your credit is and what your interest rate is and those kinds of things. Well, when you don't have anybody building those, you got to get creative. And so back to being creative, the developers that are coming in, one of the things that we're asking them to do, and then I haven't asked right here, everybody that's listening, pay attention right here. We have a city council meeting that's coming up, and councilperson Lisa Pearson and I have been trying to get a housing fund established.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it at that. We need some support from the community. Write a letter. Tell us what you need. My email is it's kwasson@statesvillenc.net. And every council person has an email that is on our list, and I will send those to Sheldon and he can post them later. Guys, we got to learn to advocate for ourselves, because if two of us know that we need housing and we know that we need to supplement some things in our community and the other council members don't support it, it's never going to happen. You need 5 votes. So just because I know, and just because she knows, and just because we're advocating for it and pushing for it, and we've had questions from people in the chat asking, well, how can I get this? How can I get this? We got to talk. You got to talk to your council people. That's how you get it.
So I'm just going to butt in there real quick. So on November 4th, it is not just important that we vote for mayor, but we have these other offices that we need to be aware of as well, correct?
There are 6 people that are going to be new. 6. Because we have 4. The mayor's not running anymore. Joe Hudson, which is Ward 5, which is up around Front Street, is not running anymore. Jap Johnson, has been on council for 30 plus years and represents the mall area, is not running this time, and it's one more person. Can't remember who the other person is. Somebody else is not running. So there are going to be 6 seats. There's an opportunity for us to completely change our council, and that can change for the good, and that can change for the bad, because there are some people that are running that do not like growth.
Mm-hmm.
They do not want affordable housing, makes them jump out of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
The word affordable housing makes them jump out of their skin.
Is it the word affordable housing or the image that's attached to the word affordable housing?
All of it.
Okay.
They don't like it. Yeah. They don't want to entertain it. And they don't think it's necessary. Mm-hmm. They think that you need to pull your shoes up by your bootstrap. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a house, you're the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so with that being said, we have an opportunity with the developers that are moving in to ask them to allocate a certain percentage of what they're building mm-hmm. to attainable, mm-hmm. To keep it at a certain level.
Correct.
Build the same house, but keep it at a certain level. So we've come up with many creative ways to get attainable housing.
So as we talk about attainable housing, I just want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. These developers are asked to allow enough space for pretty much incentives, if you will, that will go for teachers, nurses, skilled workers, etc.
Yes.
Okay, so even though I may not make as much as I want to as a teacher, but there are some incentives, such as I can get a home with at a lack of a better term, at a discounted rate. So, yes. That can answer several of the things that you have on your list. I mean, where we got someone who now works for Iredell Statesville school system. And so that addresses where we at here. That addresses the growth for and good jobs. They're taking a little bit more pride now, which is, in my opinion, is going to make them a better teacher. I don't care what nobody say. If you have a teacher that is proud to teach in that community, he or she is going to be a better teacher.
And she's going to stay.
And
when she stays in that community, she's going to know the children. She's going to know the family. She's going to know everybody.
Yep.
And so it's not going to be like little Johnny is going to be, boy, if I see your mom at the grocery store, I'm going to have a conversation. But if I don't live here, which is what we're getting, we have a lot of young people commuting here that work here. They don't live here.
That's right.
They come in here, they do their work, and then they go home. And so we need them here. We need them to be a part of our community. So we want to support them.
Correct.
And then, like I said, the relationships with Habitat for Humanity and other community partners, it's all the same thing. We really want to work with, churches that are partnering with developers. Shiloh did a partnership with a developer to build some townhouses over behind Black Pontiac. There is a pastor that is over on is First Baptist. It used to be First Baptist. It's called First Church now.
Yep.
He's working on some things as far as housing. And so there's a lot of synergy right now around building community as a whole inside of Statesville.
Perfect.
So even though we're building $300,000, $400,000 houses, we are also working to build the $200,000 houses. Nice. The day of $150,000 house is probably gone.
Yeah.
$25,000 house with a $75,000 down payment assistance from one of those programs that we talked about earlier, that brings your house down to $150,000.
Right.
So there's different ways of kind of getting it done. But again, Community Foundations handles a lot of that in United Way. And so, we formed the partnerships, and, we're a part of that organization, and we give money to them to help support that effort.
Perfect. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the city of Statesville. And I want to say thank you for coming on to be a part of the show on today. Folks, we got to get out and we got to vote. And before you go out to vote, do some research, get involved a little bit in that process to know your candidate, because they may have a pretty smile in all 32. How many teeth we got? Is it 32? I don't know. Some got like 22. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, but do they really represent the smile that they put on? Are they really concerned about your community? Kim, why are you doing this? Why you want to become mayor? Yeah, take a deep breath, because
that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
The other 4 people that are running against me are Republicans. It is a nonpartisan race.
Mm-hmm.
But let me be clear. Typically, when you're talking about residents that live in the city of Statesville,
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, Iredell County is a very red county. The city of Statesville is not. We're a very moderate community. And so we had a lot of people that were running for mayor that I feel like would have derailed the progress that we had made in such a short period of time. In the time that I've been on council, we have been able to give people raises, clean up these communities, have healthy relationships with our police department. We are moving things out at the mall. We are bringing in housing. We're renovating parks. We're doing the things that is going to create a healthy lifestyle for the people that live in the city. We're building relationships with the school system. We're working together with surrounding communities and kind of breaking down the walls of the silos. Statesville kind of operated in an island, like it was different from everybody else.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we kind of broken down some of those barriers. And I don't want that. I don't want that work to be in vain. I don't want it to go away.
Okay.
And so when I looked at the people that were filing to run, it scared the crap out of me.
Okay. All right.
We've had the same mayor for over 20 something years. And he has been challenged over the last couple of years. And so when he decided not to run, it was, okay, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
What kind of new mayor do we have? We finally have an opportunity to be able to create the Statesville that we have said that we want for years.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we continue to move forward, it's time for us to stand up. And you got to work by voting for what you say that you want. So when you go look at those candidates, Iredell Free News has all of the candidates on their Facebook page. You can go to the Board of Elections and get the information and just simply Google the candidates. There's going to be signs. There's going to be all kinds of information around. The people that are running against me are, Brian Summers. It's Rosita Williams, Doug. I cannot remember what Doug's last name is. I'm so sorry, Doug. And William Morgan. And so when you start to do your research, think about if that person, first of all, do you know that person?
Right.
What do you know about that person? And will that person represent you? And if you don't know, do your research. Or better yet, pick up the phone and call them.
Yep.
They work for you. We work for you. I challenge everybody. Give me a call. Ask me any questions you want to ask. But if you're going to ask me those questions, I challenge you to ask them too. Because we've got to learn how to advocate for ourselves and hold people accountable to do the work that they say they want to do. Some people want to sit in a seat. Some people want to be seen. And then you have actual people that actually want to see the change and they want to be a part of it. And that's for every candidate. There's 20 people running in this election.
Wow.
Please do your research. If you have any questions, there's going to be forums that come up. There's going to be different events at churches that come up. So, just keep your eyes and ears open. I will share information with Sheldon
Please do.
for him to
Inundate
back
my
out.
phone, whether it be email,
And please
text.
come.
Yeah.
Please come. And please, if you're interested in doing some type of forum, hit me up. We can connect and get people out talking and let people just ask the questions. If you want to take some questions, send them to all the candidates and bring them all on.
There you go.
I challenge.
There you go.
Challenge everybody. Do your homework.
If
I
you
want to be mayor. I see a brighter future and vision for Statesville. I want to move forward. I want to be inclusive as we move forward and grow as a city. And I want to bring everybody along with me. That's why I'm running for mayor. I want a brighter future for me, my children, and their children in this city.
I ain't gonna lie, Councilwoman. I said, "Why do you want to be mayor of Statesville, North Carolina?" And I was a little worried initially because you started telling me, what you gonna do, and then you hit me with the okie doke. And what I take away from that answer is, you don't want the hard work that you've done and that you've put in to unravel. So when you don't want that to happen, you do it. You step up to the plate. And to me, it sounds like you're willing to step up to the plate to do what's, because the woo-saw in the beginning, I got that. You take a deep breath because I know you're going to have your fair share of struggles and your fair share of obstacles. And sometimes, you say, why am I doing this? Because, all this struggle and see, they see the pretty stuff and they see the glossy stuff, but there's some other stuff that goes along with it, And so I like the way you wrapped that up. You brung that thing on home and you made it to the point and personal. And thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time today. And I just want to say that, your insight is invaluable. So I appreciate you and I thank you for the work that you do and the desire that I feel like you have to reach the community and share information. Information is so much power. And thank you for all you do. And I appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. Before I let you go, and I know you probably have things you got to do. We talked about all this stuff, but sometimes it takes a little bit of money to keep your face out there. So if they want to give, how can they give to your campaign?
I will accept any donation of any amount. If you want to put a sign in your yard, same thing. We're asking for donations, but the support is definitely what I need, and that vote. So whether you live in the city of Statesville directly or not, you can support the campaign. But I have Venmo and Cash App, or we can take checks. But the Venmo information is at Vote K Wasson, and then the Cash App information is $, Vote K Watson, excuse me, $ Vote K Watson.
$ elect Kimberly Wasson.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We ain't gonna let you miss no money right there. Now okay, ladies.
The mailing address.
Ladies and gentlemen, saints and nates, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, we want you to support Kimberly Wasson and her run for mayor of Statesville, North Carolina. I think she has the people's heart, at interest. And so, if you want to give, please do so. It is $ elect Kimberly Wasson. All right, that's for Cash App. Let's see here. Early voting starts October 16th through the 31st, 2025. Iredell County Board of Elections, and election day is November 4th, 2025. Vote at your assigned polling place. Make sure you go and follow her on Facebook and the gram. I think the young folk call it the gram, or they call it IG. As old folk call it the gram, trying to sound cool, but the young folk call it IG. But nevertheless, follow her on social media at Vote K Wasson. That's WASSON. Okay, WASSON. Vote Kim Wasson, Statesville mayor. I support this message.
I love that voice. You got radio voice.
Come on now, watch out there now. I used to be a radio DJ, the gospel ambassador. 89.9 WSCB, Springfield College Radio, giving you the best in gospel music. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Councilwoman, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you. And at short notice, guys, if they cannot respond, then they do not deserve your support. Period. Even if you would have responded and said, no, sir, I can't make it, too short of a notice, I would have understood and respected that. But not only did she respond, but she made time in her schedule to be with us on this morning. So again, we thank you. Any final words you have for the viewers and for the city of Statesville?
Choose wisely, folks. Choose wisely.
Yeah.
Vote for the change you want to see.
The power of decision. The power of decision. Well, you are the change I would like to see. So, again, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us. Just hold tight there, Councilwoman. I love saying that. Soon to be changed to Mayor Wasson. We got to call those things that be not as though they are. And we've got to talk in faith, with faith, by faith, on faith. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for Councilwoman, soon to be Mayor of Statesville, North Carolina, Kim Wasson, and show her our love in the comment section with a heart, clap, something. Or more importantly, just hit her Cash App, $ elect Kimberly Wasson. Again, folks, we want to thank you for joining us on today. This concludes the broadcast on this morning. It's been a minute since I've been in the studio, but I think this was the right show to kick it back off with. There's so much more to do beyond what it is that you do. And so sometimes you got to connect with the right people and do the right thing, even though it might be difficult and even though it might not be popular. So anyway, I'm gonna get out your way, have a quick chit chat with the councilwoman for a moment, and so I can get some information that I can share with you guys. And you can stay tuned because we will be following her campaign. We will be supporting her campaign, and we will be doing what we can do to be of assistance. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, without any further ado, once again, we want to say thank you for joining us here on the Retro Philosophy Show. And let's see here. We'll see you guys on the next go round. We out of here. This is Retro from Retro Philosophy TV, requesting permission to take off, please.
0,000 direct Nelson. 3020 on the meter direct Cook Canyon Ranch. Gulfstream 0 Tango.
Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, please prepare for takeoff. Flight number F6B has been cleared. We are ready for takeoff.
And we'll let you know when we get to the airport in sight. Gulfstream 0 Tango.
Make sure your seats are upright, seat belts are tight, and you're ready for a ride. It's your boy Retro, and we're taking off. The left lane has been cleared. Let's get ready to ride.
Oh, American 2495. 2715, I'm going. Gulfstream 0 Tango.
Let's go, let's go. It's the retro philosophy.
Is among us. Glory to God today with our best friends. Peace and faith. Glory to God in the highest. Hey,